Sure. Welcome to the third episode of Crossing the T's podcast. My name, THEMBA J.
THEMBINKOSI SEKGAPHANE.
So, hey man, Happy New Year. This is the first episode for 2023 and we're back to have fun again, to have conversations that we started last year when we started the podcast.
Yeah.
So, on that Happy New Year, Steez, what's on your mind, if you may?
Well, firstly, I don't think we should still call it a Happy New Year. We're 26 days in. I want maybe 15 maholi. By qedile mali. By 20 now, by qedile 25, by qedile.
Oh, 26 vandag,
really?
What?
Listen, you're rich for one day, on payday.
A few moments.
And then it's done.
And the David order starts
and
flying off.
maybe 48, let's say 48 hours maximum.
You're the king of the hill.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's a new year nonetheless. We're about to knock out the first month and there's 11 to go. So, yeah, so I don't know, like this year,
sure,
I'm just looking forward to getting more clients, getting more work, being a bit more consistent with getting work and finding work and keeping clients. It's easy to find clients, very difficult to keep them coming back.
Sure.
And it's not because of the quality of work that we produce, but it's, the demand. There isn't that big of a demand. And I think we talked about this earlier, that we need to start looking beyond Joburg, beyond Cape Town, beyond South Africa for work opportunities, for voiceover opportunities and writing opportunities. Because, I think if you just look within Joburg and South Africa, you'll exhaust all the avenues. And I think the content creation space or market is bigger outside of South Africa than it is here. It's bigger outside of South Africa. So that's why, we need to find more clients
everywhere.
Look,
you talking about finding clients, that's exactly what's on my mind as well as we start the year with, look, get a couple of retainers, 3, and then sit on that. And then everything else becomes once off or whatever, I don't care. But it's always good to have more retainers. And, they give you that stability
that you need.
Yeah, there's a paycheck that's coming at this time of the month, then you can go ahead and plan accordingly. But if it's just you wake up and hope somebody will come through the door, it's a bit challenging, and anxiety starts building up if you have something to cover financially, and then nobody seems to be coming through the door. So
which was the case last year with just waiting for clients to come through the door and not having something stable. Like, okay, cool, I've got 2 clients that I know I've got maybe like a 12-month contract with, and then everything else is just extra money. But you know that you're planning your whole life and some of the things that you want to do for yourself and your family just around those 2 checks.
So here's the thing for me, right? Like, with that said, I think it's also important to, in the same vein, talk about how proud you are of yourself, how proud I am of myself. Because when you started, it was difficult, Joe. It seemed insurmountable, and then now you've gone through the process of learning, of finding clients, losing a client.
Finding another one,
and then improving your communication and all of these things. So it's easy to give up in that stage where you're still just building credibility and building the skills necessary to keep the relationships. So the thing for me is cool. I mean, that's happened. The whole of last year and the year before last, it was pretty much finding my feet when it comes to freelancing. So that's why after 3 years at it, I realized I don't need to be hard on myself. I've not achieved this, because truth be told, if I was still at an office job, chances are I wouldn't have learned half the things, even a quarter of the things I've learned on my own, because now you're forced to step up. You realize quickly when you go out on your own and everything is on your shoulders that the safest business is a relationship business.
Yeah.
So if you suck at building and maintaining relationships and communicating,
You're going to struggle.
You're going to struggle.
You are going to struggle.
You're
That's
going to
true.
drown.
Yeah.
You know, the water will run out of that well and you're going to drown because, man, it's again, relationship at the base of everything else. The work, it doesn't matter how talented you are. If you can't communicate clearly and keep the client on par with what you're doing, what you're thinking, your decisions, and what led to those decisions, again, you're going to struggle. Same as you can actually liken it to an intimate relationship with your spouse. Without robust communication, there's going to be lots of problems.
Yeah.
We'll always be putting out fires.
Yeah.
Young Tana. So for me, I've got that on lockdown, and for the past 4 years of freelancing, I'm happy because, you know, you can easily go to school, but teach just, you know, the few fundamentals of communication. But when you do it yourself, you make some mistakes. Like I said, you get a client and then lose them, get another one, maybe have a rocky relationship and then decide to part ways. The third one will meet a different guy. A guy that can now talk about money upfront, openly, in a calm demeanor, you know. And that's the thing for me when it comes to relationships, that we need to discuss problems and fallouts with the same demeanor that we discuss victories and happy moments. For me, that's a sign of maturity. And that's where I am. If we're discussing money, it's going to be calm. If we're discussing a problem, we're going to be calm as well. I don't want a screaming match. And that's how I sort of sift what sort of people to work with. I mean, like if somebody's always complaining and blaming other people, you realize that shit. After 3 months, I'm gonna be added into the list of people that they complain about. This is it. I mean, look, if somebody doesn't want to admit their wrongdoing in anything that they were involved with people, it's a red flag. So I pay attention to those red flags, and that didn't come naturally. I've had to, you know, get my fingers burnt, as it were. So for me, like, I'm happy. Like the slow growth, if you like, is still growth. Sibongo kancane, sibongo khulu. Young Ton.
For me, it's just not beating yourself up after you've lost a client, or
I struggled with that one.
You know what I mean? And not treating that like it's the end of the world. I'm not saying burn bridges. You still need to be respectful, but know when to stand up and walk away from the table if whatever is being discussed or offered is taking you away from your gift
own objectives.
or your own objectives.
Yes.
Like, not all opportunities are good opportunities. So you need to know which ones to turn down and which ones to take.
And that takes a bit of time as well. It's an acquired taste. That line on its own sounds poetic. It sounds easy. You know, being able to suss out, not all opportunities are for me. But when you start out, every opportunity you jump at.
You jump at every opportunity, and then you realize, my biggest thing was realizing that some of these opportunities are taking time away from what you actually want to achieve.
You don't see the erosion happening until you are far from shore.
Because you're like, oh damn, if I work with these guys, then I'm gonna make X amount of money.
That's the bottom line. I mean, that's how I started making our decisions again when I started freelancing.
But that's like maybe 5 hours of your day. That's like 5 hours every day that you should be using to build your own thing. Meanwhile, you're helping other people build whatever it is that they want to build for themselves, and you're stealing time from what you are trying to build. So that has been a thing, like just saying no. You know, I've had to say no a lot.
And you grow stronger.
No,
No,
I can't do it. No.
Give it to somebody else who'll enjoy it, and whose beliefs and, you know, schedule and everything else aligns with the opportunity. Don't take everything. Like, blessings and opportunities are always coming at us. They're always coming to us. It's you know, the fallacy of now you remind me of that. The fallacy of once in a lifetime opportunity. It's crazy how I believe that hook, line, and sinker when I was growing up. Just doesn't make sense.
If you don't make the decision now, you'll never get an opportunity like this again. Says who?
This guy in front of you wanting to rip you off.
Says who? Don't bend bridges. But not all opportunities are good opportunities. And you need to know when to walk away from opportunities that steal time away from what you want to achieve for yourself.
And I think if you use that as a foundation, you can't go wrong. You know, I mean, like it's a good thing we're discussing this like right in the first month of 2023, so that what you did last year in terms of saying no to this opportunity and that opportunity, you can now do without feeling any guilt, knowing that, look, I'm letting this one go, something else will come. Or the same company will come to me with something that fits me.
Yeah.
Because more you know, you're pretty much telling people how to treat you. It's a love language of sorts in business.
Yeah.
I don't do these type of projects, but ganji, here's my profile. Now they know if they want to reach out because they appreciate your skill set, they have to reach out with an opportunity that sort of meets your specifications.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win in a sense. Would you let go of people, sure, but they also respect you. Would you didn't waste our time, and then you're gonna give a half-baked effort into this thing. Yeah. Because it's easy to take it just because it's gonna put some food on your plate.
Yeah.
But then the quality of the work doesn't turn out to be good.
Exactly.
Because you're not invested in it.
Like you can take on a project and then 2-3 months down the line, sure, they're paying you, everything is fine, but then you're like, hey,
I'm not feeling this.
I'm not feeling this.
And
it starts to show in the output.
And here's the thing. When you say, I'm not feeling this, I don't think this, you didn't feel it signing the contract, but you just didn't have the guts to talk to yourself and say, yo, dude, you're not feeling this. Why are you taking it? This is it.
You are looking at the money and what you can achieve with, not to mention any names, but I had a similar thing last year.
Sure.
Yeah, I had a similar thing last year.
Tell me more.
2 months into it,
sure.
I just, sent the lady a text on WhatsApp and said, yo, I think I'm going to pull out. And then I sent the text and that was it. Pulled out of it. Clean. Yeah, I mean, she was happy with the quality of the work.
Sure.
She thought it was about the money and said it wasn't about the money. I wasn't feeling the project, so I left. 3 months in.
Let's not force it.
No.
And also, I mean, I like the making clean breaks. Started making this a rule about 2 years back. We're old enough. If something happens and you change your mind about something, don't ghost a person. Come on.
Yeah.
We're getting old. And even if it's not even an age thing, it's a maturity thing which can strike at any time in a person's life. I don't see something the same way I saw it or feel about it. Why don't I say it instead of just assuming the person will read it from their own? So making clean breaks leads perfectly well to the second topic, setting the record straight. So again, make clean breaks, be mature, be a man, face things, and have the guts to set the record straight when things go askew.
And having that ability also just saves a lot of people a lot of trouble. One, because making clean breaks means there's people involved, there could be money involved, there's companies involved, there's people's emotions involved. Nobody wants to invest their time and their energy into something that doesn't benefit them. We forget that. Whether it's relationships or, in business or in the workspace. And money cannot be the only reward. Money is not everything. There needs to be something else that you get
something deeper, man.
Yeah.
Something spiritual, as it were.
Yeah.
We would see, look, if it's about the money, you get used to the money after some time. You buy everything you've ever wanted. You feel that the lack of it, or having grown up, let's say, without cash, you feel that void quickly enough, and then your mind says, what else? Then you chase more stuff, and then what else? So you keep going down the rabbit hole if you just focus on money. So for me, it's been a work in progress, and it's forced me to look inward and introspect to get to a point where I'm able to say the truth easily. Thus, setting the record straight. if say, like you said, if you take on a project and things change, it's either your lifestyle or your interest in this thing, just it's not as it was when you signed the deal, you say it, Yantal.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I did when I got a client in the technology space when I started. I wasn't in a good space emotionally, and I remember sending the lady email, yo, this is how I'm feeling, this and this and this, and I don't want to be fucking up your digital presence, because the person behind those controls is just losing it, you know. So we made a clean break. A couple of glasses broke while moving, so to speak. But what I like is I'm able to apologize and talk to people way after the fact. So after the separation, I was able to send emails to every single person that was involved. It was 3 people all in all. The person that liaised with me, the HR person that brought me on, and the managing director, if memory serves. So you send tailored notes to say, yo, this is where I am now. I'm so much better than when we left things, and you know the reasons why I left. You know, like I've recovered from that. Just want you to know that I appreciate the opportunity and all of the, like you gaining goodwill, and then get permission to publish the stuff that you did with them. That's another thing. Setting the record straight, courtesy. Instead of just saying, I did this job, so I might as well advertise it. You learn quickly enough during freelancing that actually you need permission. Because you created the work, they paid you, you gave it to them, they own it. So should you want to put it on your profile, which I did, I had to send an email with, yo, I want to...
Can I do this?
Can I do this? Yeah. So it shows, okay, but I'm willing to talk to you via email. And you never know what's in your life. Chances are we can actually work together again. So for me, setting the record straight is so bloody important. Even when, and this is the most important part, not easy even when there's some blowback on you. Even if you lose a bit of cash. Because with that deal, let it go. And then I lost a bit of cash. I didn't have a retainer months following that, and it starts to show.
And maybe even losing that relationship.
This is it.
Yeah.
Right? You lose that relationship, there isn't work that's coming in. So, so that's a fuck up in terms of like invoicing, making money, and being liquid, and not running out of cash. Because I ran out of cash after that. But for me, I was willing to deal with the blowback of setting the record straight, of saying, this is where I am, and I can't deliver to the levels that you know me to be capable of. And just like that, you grow, you mature. That's why for me, I mean, look, if somebody has an idea to go freelance, keep your job, make sure there's money still coming in, but try something however
And
small on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, try.
Then grow it. Grow it.
You know?
And then look at where it goes. Then
you start looking at the transition.
Yeah.
But it's important for me to implore you to start something, however scrappy, however unsophisticated, if you like, however it may be. When you start out, start that, because it's not about how it looks, it's about what you learn, the changes you go through, talking to clients, having to tell people your value, how much you're worth, and all of these things. That's education. You realize after 3 years, 4 years, actually I can talk about money with an open heart, calm tone, just like, people that grew up in money, which we didn't. But it's a case of learning your value as a person, like learning the art of communication, of courtesy. If I keep the client in the dark and I tell them later on and we have to fix something, that's not courtesy.
No, it's not.
Right? If they had information and that they withheld from me, I wouldn't like it. So you start.
Why am I doing the same to them?
So you're learning to wear your heart on your sleeve, so to speak, and be more expressive. And because you do that, you find that naturally over time, you demand the same from people. If you give respect 110%, you demand the same as a basic standard. If not, let's not have this thing. That's been another game changer for me. When it comes to setting boundaries, setting the record straight, and protecting your time, and your own value and respect as well. I mean, how you treat yourself, other people treat you.
That's true.
So you learn these things. If you tell the truth and you're not scared of hiding behind, let's say, or hiding from criticism, you're gonna attract people that tell the truth, but want you to grow as well. Give you educated criticism, so to speak, intelligent, inputs that you get from people, because you attract what you are.
That will help you. Yeah.
That's why I'm bullish on, before you demand something from somebody else, become that thing first, and watch your tribe come to you. And I'm enjoying that. You're confident, you tell the truth, you're able to set boundaries and speak the truth. You attract the very same type of people. And life gives you that meteoric rise. Actually, I never thought I'd do this. I never thought I'd be speaking in New York. Not because of anything. Sure, luck, talent, whatever, but you've just decided to become this certain type of person that you see yourself to be. You became that, and then people came out of the woodwork. Opportunities you never thought would be available to you come through.
Now available, yeah.
This is it, because you made yourself a certain type of person. And freelancing has helped me to be a stronger man than I would have been if I decided to stay in the office. Because in the office, you don't go out and hunt anything.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I have to use that analogy.
Yeah, like I think, with that said, I appreciate using all of my talents with freelancing. On Monday, you could be writing an article. Tuesday, you're recording a voiceover. Wednesday, you're doing something else. You're working on graphics. You don't get that in a job quite often,
Yeah.
You don't. And with what we do, right, part of it is in the entertainment industry.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people also struggle with keeping their lives separated from their work. I think it's a difficult thing for a lot of people.
Rightfully so. Because my take is, you are a human being. That's complex, like you're multidimensional as a person. But then we come through with labels that, a couple of boxes that you need to tick. You're going to find it difficult. I mean, outside of work, you're interested in other things. And then you get into the workspace, you find out that you can't bring your other self into work. And you find out if you bring your hobbies and your other things into your work, it enriches your work.
Yes.
For instance, I dropped jogging and playing football when I was in a full-time job because the demands are just too crazy. So the first thing that goes is something that just doesn't bring you money. Although it keeps your mind in tip-top shape. So now that's why, as a basis, I'm a footballer, I'm a runner. Everything else will follow at the back of that, because if I don't work out, I can't generate, like, creativity, it becomes stale. And then the health follows, and then I become lethargic. This is it, and then I become tired and all of these things. But the creativity dwindles when I don't work out. And I had to learn that the hard way. When in my previous job, I started making silly mistakes. I was just recreating what I know, because I didn't take the time from the work to replenish and learn other things. And so for me, that's the challenge. You need to separate who you are at your core, things that don't pay you. You need to keep them separate with work. And work is the serious thing. That's another thing that bothers me. It's just so serious. That's why I love working from anywhere. Because you could go on a hiking trail. After that, open your laptop and finish up a client article and then send it. I love the fact that I can work from a stall somewhere. Magane shelter catch up while I do my thing. And then get in a car and leave. So it's demystified. Working from anywhere, working from home has demystified a lot of things about work. We don't take work as seriously, right?
Yeah.
And it's not something you need to go to.
You can do it from anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, it's important to keep a light-hearted perspective on work, because it's not the be-all and end-all of your life. It's one thing that you do. on top of having kids, on top of maybe having a cycling team, on top of playing for a netball team at work or kokasi. Ukusebenza falls into one of those things. Why then should it be, chief in the list and then everything else follows?
Yeah.
So that's been my thing. Like I've been struggling with that.
And since the year started, just learning or finding out the truth about what really happened with Msaki and Smash Afrika.
Tell me,
Like I know we don't usually discuss these kind of topics, but I feel it ties into setting the record straight, right?
Yeah, sure.
So the story is Msaki is a home wrecker, or at least the reports paint her as such.
Reportedly so.
Yeah, but when you learn the details of the story, Smash Afrika has been separated from his wife for a year. They've been estranged for over a year. And then Msaki and Smash decide to pursue a relationship. And then now she's a home wrecker. I'll say this, right? I've always felt any guy who gets involved with, any woman, in fact, who gets involved with a guy who is going through a divorce or a separation, that woman is going to get hurt. No matter what happens, that woman will have to bear the brunt of the ending of that relationship or marriage. And society is not kind to such women. And we're not kind to them without even understanding the full details sometimes. And it's not fair. Then what makes matters worse is the guy who's really, in the middle of it all, because you are the one who had a relationship with this woman who's now about to be your ex, or who's about to be your ex-wife or ex-partner, and you are involved with this new one.
Sure.
Most guys don't set the record straight, even when, even after the fact. They don't set the record straight. It's like, I don't owe anybody an explanation. But I think to clear your lady's name, you need to say, yo, we've been estranged with this particular person for a year. And so, I moved on. I'm in a new relationship now. I think you at least owe her that.
For me, sitting on the fence doesn't work in matters like this, right? Because I'm such a fan of coming out of the gate and, taking control of the situation. Again, tell the truth, even if it brings some blowback on you. Tell the bloody truth. So Smash, you come out and say, because abantu bazothi home wrecker, because obviously Venezuela, lo sister that's going through the legal process of separating with Smash, right? And someone else might be speaking. That's the thing, we speak because of different reasons. Someone else might be looking at the story. I found the 3 paragraphs of the story and it hits them. Obviously they'll tweet from that perspective. You go, home wrecker, right? So you don't know why somebody's saying that. And again, to jump onto what you said about a person such as Msaki getting into a relationship with someone who's going through the process of getting a divorce, will get hurt or get some splatters on her, irrespective of what happens. Because we're looking at you thinking, go to Pumalo Genawen. Yes, as you're speculating.
Yeah, it's always always the case.
Temperature with a small mind will say icon. It follows that one, which is the lady leaving, plus one, it's equals to 2. Is tinalis. Finish and clear. And if you get
it's not always the case.
It's not always the case. It's not this gray, it's not always black and white. And the umuntu articulate uzokwenza ubelieve ukuthi lo sile lo. Uphihliza imizi yabantu. That's why I'm fond of saying a small mind doesn't care about nuance. And that's when things murky. That's where things get difficult to handle. But people just say these broad statements and never look at the finer details.
The finer details.
Yeah. So for me, in setting the boundaries and protecting your loved ones, you are the person that has the shield. So for me, it comes naturally. Actually, I've had to toughen myself up over the past 5, 6, 7 years. Because being Sab at some point in my life, especially early 20s, to be involved in difficult conversations. So I didn't want to sort of disturb the peace. So sometimes even no meeting issue, you keep it to yourself. But now it's like, actually nah, Tim, because I don't like this, I don't like that. The reason I don't like this, it makes me feel this way. Now I can talk and give guidance as to how I want to be treated.
Yeah.
And I'm willing for someone else to correct me as well with, actually, when you do this, this is how it comes across to me. You understand? So
why were you afraid to have difficult conversations? Do you know why?
Low self-esteem, Chief.
Okay.
Low self-esteem.
More than anything.
More than anything.
Okay.
Like the bare truth is that low self-esteem, which comes as a result of how I grew up, entirely strict. So you're always scared to voice your opinion, even when you are right. Even when you're working with him and you're like, you've got an idea that could help along whatever you're doing, whether saving cement or fixing a car tire, whatever the case, you keep it to yourself. That cascades into school. You've got an answer 99% of the time, but you don't raise your hand. People that don't know the answer are okay with raising their hand and being told, no, that's not right, but you're close. They've got the confidence. And those are the kids that go out of that school and go murder it, go corporate or wherever else. Because they can get into a situation and say, hey, my name is THEMBA J. I'm a writer, public speaker.
I don't get this. This is what I don't understand. This is what I understand. How can you help?
This is it. They're able to put themselves out there.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a case of I'm timid, I'm shy, I'm scared, I doubt myself. So I didn't think that I was capable of handling a conflict. That's why now I'm comfortable with having conflicts with a calm demeanor, with the same demeanor that I used to discuss it as a friend. And so that's my thing, that's my standard now. But it's been a lot of internal work. It's very difficult to get to that level.
No, it's not easy,
until it comes instinctively. Somebody smears your partner's name, you'll see a THEMBA J jump instinctively. Because I've realized, man, this is it. Nobody will respect you if you don't learn to say no and push back. If you take hater, you say it. If you don't, you're saying to me it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'll do it until there's resentment. And still
no conversation to clear the air. Still. Nothing.
You mess.
Yeah.
Lo kwatele lo talo yahlanya lona. Yini ukwatela ncavi kuba ifog. And then you lose something potentially amazing because of that. So for me, I would have jumped out into the firing squad and said, yo, I'm dating this person.
Yeah.
This is the situation. And keep it to do. That's my life. I'm dating Msaki, I'm estranged with my wife for a year, 2 months, whatever the case is. Put the facts out there and just let that sit there. You came out for her, Anton. Another thing like that could be likened to that is you're walking in a public area, right? And before you walk with your person, before you walk through that crowd, you grab her arm and lead the way. That one body language thing does crazy things to your mind. She feels in a sea of people, in chaos. It's yo, can you please pass? Can you please pass? So that guidance is not something that you get taught. Sometimes, especially time or normal corner, openly. You have to go learn it by yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the thing for me. Like, come out of the gate.
Sure.
So come out of the bloody gate and protect the one you love.
Yeah. man, I felt like it was so unfortunate because it led to her taking a sabbatical from recording music.
For how long?
I'm not sure. She says she needs to heal.
Oh, that's bad news for music.
Yeah, she's taking a sabbatical from releasing music and performing because of the comments that have come on the back of being labeled a home wrecker.
It really touched a place. It touched a place so deep for her to go that way.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, she's a musician. She's a writer. She plays.
did.
And so she strikes me as a spiritual person about her work.
Yes.
So if she
100%.
decides, yo, I'm gonna take a break.
100%.
Imagine like the amount of vile things that were said to her for her to reach that stage.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, let's park it here. Let me take a break. I'll be back. I'll be back whenever. I don't know when that is. But yeah, I hope.
It's soon.
Yeah, I hope maybe in a year or two she comes back. But yeah, I just felt, like a lot of people are in that situation. And the guys in those situations don't want to step up and protect the women that they should be protecting. And you don't even, and by protecting, it's not even physical.
No.
It's just by saying, yo.
Be the shield between the people like hurling insults at her. Like, tell me what you're telling her.
But for you, this is the situation. I've made this decision. This is my life. Here we go. And that's it. And half the time, the only reason why people throw stones is, in fact, people are guilty of the same thing. They're guilty of the same thing. There's somebody sitting, tweeting, and calling you a home wrecker. This person is dating a married man or a married woman. The only difference is they're not going to be in the front page of the Sunday Times or Sowetan. That's the only difference, because they're not famous. But otherwise,
we are people. We go through, like, life is universal.
Yeah.
If your laundry gets aired in public, why am I there clapping or, trying to find out more information?
Yeah.
Because I also do the same things, man. Come on. I mean, if you're dating, I'm dating. I'm telling. If you're working and making cash, I'm working and making cash. We are people. Life is universal.
Yeah.
Yes. All of these things pretty much say when somebody's down and out, pick them up. Next time you also that'll trip and fall and somebody will help you out.
Yeah.
But in the age where, I mean, look, we tell social media like a lot of things. People that don't have confidence have now found a way to demean other people. Ain't no one healed and okay will insult somebody else online. Nobody. No one. Only bitter people do that. So that's why I'm worried about the fact that Msaki had to make the decision to take a sabbatical, because it means, the things that were, texted at her were vile. It's crazy stuff. And it tells you you've got poison in your heart.
Yeah.
And the only way to heal as a human being, since we've spoken about life being universal, the only way to get that poison out is to say it. If you don't say it, you write it somewhere. This is journaling. But now you're journaling poisonous things, like pointing at people. Why don't you get a diary and write that poison out? Burn it if you don't want people to read that. But go through a certain way of therapizing yourself. Because we can't have a situation where we see people dragging other people through the mud online.
Yeah.
I'm telling, it just doesn't make sense.
Can't have it.
And it's old people, Chief. It's not like it's 10-year-olds.
No, it's not kids.
It's adults.
It's not kids.
It's like Twitter wars. Who has those?
Yeah, it's
40-year-olds,
not kids.
50-year-olds.
It's not kids. It's people that understand life. It's people who've been through things. And you would like to believe that they would be, sympathetic.
Yes.
Or they would at least try and get all the facts before making any kind of statement.
Young Tol,
But that's not the case.
you realize life is a playground.
Yeah.
The playground that you left go crèche or primary school, it still happens even in Kospaning, even when people are 40 going over. Young Tol, people still fight online instead of saying, actually, let me drive to your house. Let's share a bottle or something and let's clear the air.
Yeah.
What happened?
What happened? Yeah.
Step on your toes and let's talk about it. Instead, I'll send a tweet. I won't even
Or
tag
I'll
you.
speak about you in circles where your friends are, and then somehow whatever I said will circle back to you.
As it always does. It's like when you speak, it's advisable that you shouldn't speak ill of anyone online, because people, like a vast majority of people, have a Google alert set on their name. Even besides that, someone else will see it, screenshot it, show me Pegutini THEMBINKOSI. How? I will say Sugile, and I will reply and there's people watching now eating popcorn. You know? But that's childish again. It's primary crèche, primary type behavior. And I don't respect anyone who goes through that.
No.
Especially when you have the option of emailing that person, or if you've got their number, send them a text, private, or call them out.
Or visiting, or just going to their home or workplace, having a sit down and having the conversation.
Let's have lunch and then talk about this thing, man. What's going on?
Yeah.
Young Ton.
Like what's the one thing that you've been battling with? Maybe like a temptation that you've been, something that's just tempting you.
A bad habit, a vice.
Yeah, like a vice just that you've been struggling with.
I'll tell you one.
Uh-huh.
It comes to me.
Yeah.
Biting nails. Chronic nail biter, I know. My
Yeah.
mom is one. And for me, I realized that I actually made a note of this on my phone 3 weeks back. I was a chronic nail biter almost all of my life because I was suffering from anxiety.
Yeah.
So it calmed me down. I only made that insight when I started learning about myself. Coincidentally, 4 years ago, when I started freelancing.
Yeah.
Sorry, like I was saying earlier in the podcast, jumping in the deep end and working on your own projects, whether they pay you or not, whether you freelance, it accelerates your level of growth, your level of self-awareness. Because now, when people say we want to talk to THEMBINKOSI for the work that they do, there isn't a chain of command before they get to you. They talk to you.
Directly.
Things go bad, we ask you, why is this recording not? Why is this article, It's not a case of they need to talk to client liaison, who's now the wall between you and client. Now it's on you. So your self-awareness now grows. Your level of courage grows as well.
Yeah.
So after going through that process of learning about myself, I realized that I was suffering from anxiety all of my life, man. Now I made a year and a half ago, made a commitment to never bite my nails. So I started going to, I remember to Molekasi, went to this lady to do my nails. It's like, if I do my nails, I won't bite them. There's anxiety. So 2 days later, I was back on manicure nails.
So you thought because you spent money on...
I was trying to dissuade myself, Joe.
Nah.
And then he says, nah. Anton.
I don't know. Yeah. With me, as far as biting goes, like I know I've stayed for like maybe 2-3 weeks. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna bite my nails. I'm just gonna use nail clippers, right?
And then what happens, Chief?
I've been using nail clippers.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so that's like a thing that I've been doing since...
Sure. Like you keep
since
track of
December,
yourself.
and yeah. I've been doing that, and one of, I wouldn't say it's a temptation, but just saying no.
You
to
struggled
money.
with that.
Yeah, saying no to money.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, we'll struggle.
Not
with
all
that.
money is good money.
Yeah, sure.
Like I said earlier, that sometimes you accept offers, but these offers take away, they steal time from what you're trying to build.
The corporate I was telling you about earlier,
Yeah.
with my experience of having to let go of the client.
Yeah.
Ah man, I was back in my 9-to-5 job. But I was at home.
But you were freelance.
But I was at home, yes. So I realized after some time, actually, nah, man. Now I'm back to the thing. Now my anxiety levels are just peaking up as well. So I hadn't found the groove of how I want to work. Now I know. Spend a couple of hours on work, spend a couple of hours on something else.
Yeah.
Maybe the entire day is filled
Take
with
your mind off work.
through other things,
I
and
think
it's
that's
okay.
one thing that that is not done in the 9-to-5 space. You never get time off work.
You're always working.
Or you don't. You're not given enough time to take your mind off work. And refresh so you can be creative and start working.
There's no time
again.
to be refreshing. The assembly line keeps on churning out things, So talk to me about how you've worked out the fear of saying no to money, or how that's going for you at the moment.
Great. It's going great. At first it was like, oh damn, I said no. Maybe let's say 2-3 weeks after
Sure.
you've said no.
Yes.
You run out of money for like 2-3
Hey,
days.
and
And then you're like, I should have said yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's natural, sure.
And then, but for the most part, it's been okay. It's like that one time I was with you and then I got a call about a marketing company that will be started, a content creation company.
And you had to say no to that,
I had
sure.
to say no to it because it was going to steal time away from what I'm trying to build. So I said no. And so it's just being able to say no and not regretting it. And saying no and then leaving it behind you and moving forward, and not to say, I should have said yes.
Nah, don't second guess yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. I always give myself the same feedback. Don't second guess yourself. And it's tied to that thing, which I was a chronic nail biter.
Yeah.
Now, 3 months, 4 months in, I use my clippers, young understand? And my mind has cleared. There's anxiety that I've let go that I grew up with.
Yeah.
2-3 years into freelancing, I started becoming... I loosened up on a lot of things, on intimate relationships, on how I talk to clients, how I present myself. I don't present myself now as anything that I'm not. And I show up in every single room. I'm proud to say this because it's been cooler before, and it's been a lot of internal work for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
I walk into every single room as myself. I don't walk into an office being this respectful person that people can just walk all over. No, I'm confident.
Yeah, it's still respectful, but you draw the line. Like, people shouldn't. Like, you draw the line.
Yeah.
Hey, it's cool. I respect you, but this is work. And if, like I said, you get up and you walk away from the table, if the offer doesn't suit you.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where I am, as far as the vice of biting nails was deeper than just that. And when I stumbled onto that insight, it was like a light bulb had come on, a spotlight had come on. Actually, deal with your anxiety. It's not just stopping biting nails; it's stopping how you think.
Yeah.
When you start panicking about something, don't go to your nails. In as much as I taught myself easily 7 years ago that when you are in a space that you, in a social space or wherever, business symposium, where you don't know anybody, when you feel uncomfortable, don't go for your phone.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing to do in a social space where you've got nobody to talk to in the moment. You take your phone and that's running away.
Yeah.
So as soon as I stumbled into that insight as well, I stopped running. So when you are uncomfortable, it's okay. Ask yourself why you're uncomfortable. Have that internal conversation while your lights are going off. Nobody's talking to us. I'd rather be on my phone. Don't escape. So it's the same thing with deal with your underlying thoughts, and you'll see the nail biting problem just evaporate.
Yeah.
And by extension, you'll be the person that's able to tell people rules of engagement when it comes to intimate relationships, business,
and how they should treat you.
This is it. You come with a set of instructions. And then because you've done the internal work, you've searched your soul to come with that, you are now empathetic to say, how do you want to be treated as a client? And
then they tell you.
This is it. And then they tell you, but you've now have the foresight to ask because you've developed it yourself. But if you didn't care about how you thought and how you communicated and how people looked at you, you wouldn't care how you look at people and how that makes them feel.
Yeah.
So it's, you develop a certain affinity to something, it helps you and it helps the people you're in conversation with. Now I'm like, what are your rules of engagement? How do you want to be loved? I didn't ask that of people I got into relationships with. You just go, and blow us in the right direction. But no, you find that every single day there's arguments. And I'm arguments are drop the phone, silent treatment. No, I'm not coming to that party anymore. Silent treatment for what? If we are building a home, silent treatment, high school. You can't run a household and put it on silent treatment.
Yeah.
Zibhatalwe ngantoni bills ngoba we need to talk with a man starter this percentage sifaka la ingozi yazini tisibhatale 3 months in advance. So noma are wrong or wrong.
Yes.
Kukhuluma into
That is an important thing. That's an important thing.
Ngimkwatela ngimkhulumisi. Hey man.
The ability to still maintain the relationship and manage the relationship even though you are at odds with each other.
Yeah, chief. But like sometimes I call right and for weeks on end, maybe for 3 months. But things should move. The lights should be on. The kids should not be affected by the brunt of you fighting.
No, they shouldn't.
Like they can pick it up, hey, silent treatment again, and they joke about it. But they'll respect you for the way you come at it. The way I'm telling you about, every couple has those, just like your kids will soon learn. So for me, it's nothing is more important than that, and fighting the temptation to run away from uncomfortable conversations has helped me. I've fought that temptation and I've won. I've fought the temptation of nail biting, aka anxiety, and I've won that. But of course, it's a work in progress. But I'm happy, Manjuguti.
With where you are now.
Chief, I'm not scared of telling the truth, the blowback. I protect people that I love. It's not something that, I say because it sounds poetic. It's like, as a man, you should be honorable.
Yeah, you because, should protect the ones you love.
When the firing squad is here, it's like, it's Tony Corner, because you said it and you thought it sounds cool. But when you have to do it, it's a different story. It's difficult. It takes from you. Yeah.
You can't do it anymore. Yeah.
So for me, I mean, like with that said, that's my mindset for 2023 and beyond. Building friendships, building projects with you.
Yeah.
Building intimate relationships with an intimate relationship with my girlfriend, with mom, with my niece. That's the things we've discussed today. That's the blueprint for me.
Yeah, for 2023.
And moving onwards, man, young Ton.
Yeah.
So that's the thing for me. The new year, setting the record straight and protecting people you love, whether it hurts you or not in the short term, do it.
Yeah.
It's not easy looking at someone being honorable, but yes, you respect it. You respect it. If somebody gets cancelled because they were standing up for somebody, you never forget that. You always remember.
Never forget that. And I think it also gives a voice to others. People stop being so scared of standing up for themselves or people they love. Even if you get cancelled, I'm like, THEMBA had the courage to stand up.
That's real.
And we start building a community of people that stand up against nonsense. Not everybody who's being cancelled deserves to be cancelled. You know what I mean? Because we're at a point where people are even afraid to ask questions about some of the most basic issues that affect us because you're afraid of being cancelled.
That's it.
So I'd rather keep quiet and not say anything, even if you're uncomfortable. Even if this affects you directly, but because you can't ask questions about it. If you do, you might get cancelled. So
people are walking on eggshells, man.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like gambling with my bag. No, I'm not gonna gamble. I'm not gonna take the gamble. But
then when you don't take that gamble, right, that bus moves on. Something else comes up. that habit now grows stronger. Until you sidestepped potential cancellation and losing money and everything else successfully, sharp, because you kept quiet. You were a good little boy. And then the next time it's like, but it's the right thing to do because you see somebody being treated with injustice, but you can't say anything. So now you become this fearful person on everything. It erodes. Next thing, you're just a fearful person. But I was scared of standing up that one time. And then it became comfortable.
And then there was a domino effect.
It became comfortable. Next thing, you're scared of even disciplining your kids because their mom will be angry at you and not talk to you.
Or to abantwana, abashawa or whatever.
And then
your kids.
There you go. And then
if they misbehave, must be the way. It must be the way Themba raised his daughter.
Opinion. Of course, it doesn't take a village when that happens. It takes a village when the kid gets 7 distinctions. But we actually dissuaded the man from, talking to his kids or disciplining his kids. So the things we've been speaking about, the base of it is manhood, was strong.
Yeah.
Even as a female, you stand your ground. In corporate, the corporate space is not friendly to men, right? What about women? 10 times
it's worse. It's
right?
worse, yeah.
So even as a sister, you need to stand up for yourself because, and this is the reason why for me I say this, a mother with a high self-esteem vaccinates her daughter against a low self-esteem.
Yeah.
So as the out, the same thing. If you are willing to, set the record straight, build boundaries, be able to say no, be able to raise your kids the way you feel is the basis of your life, Joe. Standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
You become a quality human being. Your kids see you fighting through life and being uncomfortable and getting cancelled and getting back. You're showing them
falling and getting back up.
You're showing them that process because they are still going to fall in their lives. But if they don't see you getting up, falling 7 times and getting up 8, they won't do it. They didn't see it anyway. So for me, going through trials and tribulations with kids watching, it's an amazing, it's great teachable moments. And that's what my dad afforded me. That's why I'm manjing to wear my heart on my sleeve and tell the truth.
Yeah.
Understand?
No matter what comes with it.
This is it. Yeah. This boils down to, simple yet critical topics like having sex talks with the kids. I'm at a point, again, where your heart on your sleeve, where you talk about sex with a 14-year-old and it's okay. Like it's the umoya oshinji. Ngathi sikhuluma ngengoma entsha ipiano engenile that she likes. Understand? Sanokushana amajoke lapha yana bona ukuthi out lena. But you're talking about amajita song mfethu, amajita okuthanda. Lo muntu oyakuthanda akazazi nokuzazi, akazi nokuthi izikhiphani ngaye, akalazi nalolu thanda akhuluma ngaye but uthanda wena. And you start talking about those things easily because other people can't even, mention the word sex to their kids. Umuntu uncomfortable. Insecurities are eating away at their souls. And coincidentally, that's our previous
topic from episode 2.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Insecurities eat at your soul. You can't. And again, it ties back to if you're insecure about telling the truth one time, domino effect. Until you become an insecure person. So for me, it's always push back against things you believe in.
Yeah.
Things you believe in, push back and fight for them. I might look at you as an imbecile or like Pumegu as a friend or distance myself from you publicly, but unembeza ngiyawazi, in fact, that was real. This guy stood up for his family. You understand?
Yeah.
It's also, if I stay away from you, it's also a teachable moment for you. Yeah. Makushubu uyachopela sharp
Yeah, I know.
angasabuyi.
He's not somebody that I should be
That's
around.
it.
I shouldn't keep him around.
Let's be happy for feedback.
Yeah.
Makwenza into snacks and then friends are few. That's feedback. Don't cry on that and complain. No, I used to do this for people. That's being petty. Be happy ukuthi kuye kwaba nestorm abantu achieved. That's feedback. Bozoyithola nini leyo feedback? Life iyehlela kumnandi kuyi Mauritius. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
Yangithola. But makuba ne earthquake on badla phansi. They don't even help, come through and help you build back up. But that's good feedback. We asked, okay, we've narrowed the circle a bit smaller. Sharp Gukren. This is it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Well, I think we should wrap up episode 3 of Crossing the T's with
Brand
myself,
new year, man.
THEMBINKOSI and THEMBA J. We'll see you in the 4th episode, which will be dropping, I believe, sometime next week.
Yeah.
We're yet to schedule it, but we'll let you know. Peace.
It is cross. We're gone.
An hour.
Okay. I know we'll get the hang of it.
An hour.